we're going to be putting underglow on the Montgomery Ward. So not too long ago, I picked this thing up for $120. Even though it is only 12 horsepower, it is way faster than the Scots. And it does way better in the snow. Not only because it has these interesting sort of like dog bone style tires, but it's actually got some sort of lawnmower posi track system. One wheel starts spinning, the other wheel kicks in, and they both spin to get it going. Also, it starts amazing. Today I went to fire it up and I brought the jump pack all the way up to the barn because I figured I need to jump it because I haven't used it in a little while. I clicked the key forward and it started right away. So before we go and put the underglow on this thing, we need to address a problem it's having. When it sits for any long period of time, like overnight or a couple days, when you go to fire it up, it spits gas out the exhaust until it fires, which is not ideal. So what I think's happening is the float's getting stuck in the carburetor, and then while it sits, as you can see, there is no fuel shut off, so the fuel is just flowing into the engine and flooding it, so when you go to start it, the engine is just flooded with fuel. I got a fuel shutoff valve and a new clear fuel filter, so we can see the fuel flow through, and just because this fuel filter is probably pretty old and needs to be replaced. So let's go ahead and get those parts swapped in, and then we'll start with the upgrades. I'm gonna take the fuel filter off first. Start with the engine side. She is really on there. Muffler's kind of hot too. See if the tank side's any looser. Never fear, I got the longest screwdriver I could find.
This guy stinks!
There we go. Got the engine side of it disconnected. Need a rag. So I've decided I'm just gonna do the smart thing and drain the gas, because otherwise I'm just gonna make a mess. I'm gonna drain this gas tank out, then we'll put in the new fuel filter and fuel shutoff.
One eternity later.
Okay, well there we go. Gas tank is all drained out. Now we can go ahead, replace this filter, and put in the new fuel cutoff valve. So I got the same filter that I put in the Scots, Napa Gold, clear plastic filter. I like the clear ones, that way you can see how dirty the filter's getting. Get the big screwdriver back out. Little persuasion. Oh, there's a little in that filter. Leave you there, buddy. I got new hose clamps, too. There's one side. There's the other.
Much later.
There we go. Nice and tight. That's not going anywhere. So now I'm gonna put in the new cutoff valve. I think I'm gonna put it somewhere right along here. So I'm gonna cut the tube like right about there. Alright, so I think I'm gonna try it in this position just because it stays out of the way when I have it angled like this. See if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll take the hose clamps back off and rearrange it. And just in case you guys were wondering, I didn't ask for a 90, this is just what he gave me, so I'm not sure if that's all he had or what. So I'm gonna put a tiny amount of gas in case we gotta drain it again, and then we'll see if it sucks any. Probably should open the valve. There we go, let's try it now. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's working. Little piece of gasket in the gas tank there. It's not good. That's what happened to the Scots, and then the fuel line got plugged. Gonna see if I can't get it out.
One eternity later.
No way. I got it, guys. There she is. So now that we have the new fuel shutoff valve and the new fuel filter all installed, we can now start working on the upgrade. I actually already installed the headlight upgrade, so here's the footage from that now. Okay, so for the next upgrades we have Auto Cup Holder Storage Organizer by Rides. The Montgomery Ward actually doesn't have a cup holder or any sort of place to put anything, so I picked this up for $5 at the store the other day, and I think we're going to be able to make it work. As you can see, it's supposed to slide in between your seat or in your seat back pouch there, but what I think we are going to be able to do is cut this bottom plastic off here so the bottom's flat and then screw it right to the fender. And last but not least, we have the 24-inch ultra bright LED glow tubes. Continuous glow across length of the tube. Flexible, easy install. These are ice blue plug and glow lights. They're meant for inside your car. As you can see, they come with a cigarette plug here, but you could also hardwire them, which is what we're gonna be doing. And back information. These are a bit pricey at $15, so I hope they work. These are the actual lights right here. So as you can see, they're not very big, but they're flexible and they have sticky tape on the back, which should make installing them pretty easy. One more thing, I forgot about this. This is another toggle switch for our new underglow lights. That way we can have a separate switch, one for our LED headlights and one for our underglow. Okay guys, so it is time to install the underglow. I'm gonna start by installing the switch and then we will get the underglow all wired up. I've decided that I'm gonna put the underglow, I think right here. I think that'd be a good spot, right under here. That way it kind of shines down. The only problem is it's pretty dirty, so we're gonna have to wipe that spot off before we try to stick it on there. So as you can see, my wiring job for the LED headlights was not exactly ideal. I got a bunch of different connectors here. I ran out of these little snap connectors, so I had to use wire nuts, which actually worked pretty good. But I'm gonna tie into the wire right here for my light switch. I'll just have to add some extensions. The switch will be up here, then I'll run it down with some extra wire here, get it plugged in, and then we'll hook up the underglow. Okay, so the new switch is all wired up, and you see I left this end just as nothing right now because I'm gonna install the underglow to see how much wire I need to get from here all the way down to connect to both underglow strips. So that's what I'm gonna work on now, getting this all cleaned up and putting on the underglow. So I just finished wiring up the underglow light, and I'm about to fire this thing up and see if they work. All right, let's see what happens. Alright guys, so I can't figure out why the LED strip lights aren't working, so it's getting kind of late. I'm gonna call it for tonight, so I'll see you guys all tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright guys, so it's the next day here, and we figured out the problem. This is just a temporary ground line going to the battery, just to ensure we're making a good ground. Right here is our positive line going from one end of our switch down to the underglow right here. Problem was, there's two little arrows on the connectors here, and these arrows have to be both on the same side and facing each other. So if they're not plugged in like that, they won't work. So I'll fire it up and show you guys. So now I just gotta shorten the wire that goes down to these connections here and make a ground that goes either to here or right here. And then we should have working underglow. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so I just finished getting everything wired up and I did a little cable management here, so everything's kind of in a line until we get to this point, but I can't really do anything with that. So I grounded the wire up here, right on this bar, so hopefully that'll work. We're gonna fire it up and see though. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah! We got underglow! Alright guys, so we are all done with the underglow. That's all set up and working. The next thing we're going to be doing is installing that drink cup holder cubby sort of deal on the fender there. So let's get to it. Okay, so here is the drink cup holder deal. So like I said earlier, this is meant to slide in between someone's seat or your seat back pocket. That's why it has this big long flat piece. But I specifically got this one because, well, it was the only one they had. They don't just make these without this big flat piece here. So I got this one because it was hard plastic, which I knew would be better than the other fake leather ones they had because I want to cut this piece off here, which will be a lot easier because it's plastic. So my plan is, I think I'm just gonna take the circular saw and cut right along here and cut it off, I guess. I'm thinking something like this. It kind of sits on the edge of the seat like that. Move it out a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe right there. I think that looks pretty good right there. It doesn't interfere with the seat at all. I think that's what we're gonna do. Put it right there. As you can see, the actual cups that I'm drilling through sit a little lower than the lip here. So there's the cups and there's the lip. So there's gonna be a little gap between the screw and the metal, but there's not really any other way to attach it. So I'm just gonna have to do that and hope it works. So the one I just put in kind of bent the plastic and went right through, so I'm gonna put a washer on it and then put it back through. Got myself a washer on there, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in. I think I'm gonna put one more in the middle here to just level it out a little bit. There we go, that's nice and tight. So as you can see, the screws aren't the prettiest, and that's because, like I explained earlier, the lip is longer than the actual cup holders here, so when I drill down, there's a little gap there. It kind of squished that in and made the screws go kind of cockwally at the top. Left a little hole here for rainwater if any gets in there, and if you guys are wondering if any water is going to get trapped under here, it's not, because you got this huge gap here, so if any water gets in that hole, it's not going to get trapped in here and rust out the bottom there. upgrades on this tractor turned out. Really happy with the LED lights. They are so much brighter than the old ones that were in there. I'm really happy with how the light switches turned out. That way I can toggle the LEDs on, or just the underglow, or just the LEDs without the underglow. I have been waiting a couple days to film the last part of this video. I have used this some with the new upgrades, and probably my favorite upgrade is the cup holder on the side there. That is just so useful. Probably the biggest upgrade here is the cup holder on the side. But guys, that's all I got for today. If you did enjoy this video though, please like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you guys anything, but it really helps out the channel. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.